In today's video, I'm going over how you can do the same and cash these A+ data wick setups just like me, and how I was able to basically cash these 2 winners today on ES, netting me 4 reward, and then later we took 1 loss here, which is completely okay. And of course, there's 2 other winners here, but I just missed out on these trades because I was responding to messages in Discord. So if you're not in the free Discord, join up in the free Discord. I try to proactively help out the community if I can. And of course, we have a private chat for the course members. But nonetheless, let's go over this quick recap. It won't be a long recap today. So first off, we have the data wick at 8:30 a.m. This is not the ideal data wick. We want usually a bigger data wick because if you compare this data wick size to the previous price action, it's not much bigger, right? Now the wicks are definitely more prevalent, but it's not like it's anything crazy. So this is our data wick here. We took out the high. What did I take? I took an IFG setup. So if I go back in time here real quick in replay mode, I took an IFG setup here. And let me make sure my IFG indicator is working properly here. Yeah, it is. So we took an IFG setup here, going short for 1-to-1, and that's basically how we were able to hit TP. Just using combination of data wicks and my IFG indicator. It's that simple. There's your 1R scalp right there to the TP. Now there's also another TP I could go for, which is a 15-minute demand, but I just went for the data wick low. So once we do take out that data wick low, we then look for the other direction, which we did later get. So wait for an entry model. I waited for my entry model. This is an entry model I teach within a course. This is an OB entry model is what I like to call it to everyone. And we got 3.67 risk reward out of this long here to the upside. And where's my target? Weak highs, right? Because we're bullish. We are bullish. So if I was to mark out structure here, we had a low sweep here, right? But then we made this new high. And if you look to the left, we hit something to the left on the higher time frame. So we made this low now, taking out this inducement here, and we should be expecting higher highs. Now, my draw on liquidity was also higher. So not only did we hit this 4-hour supply here, right? We hit this 4-hour supply, but also we have 4-hour supply or 4-hour demand. We hit the 4-hour supply up top here as well. So because we hit this 4-hour supply as well, that is my draw on liquidity. And that aligns perfectly with the POC on the 1 hour. Now, if you go to different time frames, you can also see it's a 30-minute POC. It's also a 15-minute POC. But most clear was the 4-hour and 1 hour time frame. So that was my draw for the day. So you could have just continuously taken longs. If you miss this long here, you could have used my entry model and strategy I teach in the course to take another long entry here, or sorry, here would be the right entry model here to take internal continuations. But obviously, I tell everyone you want to take the initial setup for the most part because that is going to give you the best price and best trade management. Now, after we take out London session high, take out Asia session high, we tapped into the 4-hour supply. This is where you can look for shorts. Now, for me personally, I wasn't on charts, right? I was answering some questions. I was busy, so I was not able to catch the short here or the short here. But this is a forward test here that I drew out that you could have taken with my strategy. We had a liquidity sweep, tap into a 30-minute unmitigated demand, tapped into a POC entry model, and you could just TP'd at the origin 1 minute above for 2.5 risk reward. Why would you not want to TP at the high ideally? Well, it's because knowing we hit a 4-hour supply. So if we hit the 4-hour supply and POC, yes, we do have gaps on a 1 minute above, but those are lower time frames, right? So this is another POC or POI I drew out earlier. But yeah, we hit the 4-hour supply, so there's a lower probability in us continuously going to the upside. Now, we can still continue to the upside, right? It's probabilities. We could go up, take out the high, then go lower, or we could just mitigate the unmitigated 1 minute origin and go lower. That's what we did. So you could have taken this long here, which I did not, by the way, and then you could have taken this short with my entry model. And then lastly but not least, we have this SMT here with NQ. I would have taken this setup any single day of the week. This was just basically a setup that failed, right? We had an SMT here at the 1 minute origin here that caused this entire shift in external structure. And we had my entry model as confirmation, and I just took it. Like, it's just like any other trade, any other day, you could, for example, this could have won, right? But I'd say the only negative confluence going against the trade was that we hit the 4-hour supply. So because we hit the 4-hour supply, that is the reason why market structure externally later shifted lower. We externally later shifted lower. Now, you could even consider this a change of character to be more precise than a liquidity sweep. Because if you're anticipating the 4-hour supply to hold, this is a real trainer character and not a liquidity sweep, which is also known as a fake trainer character. So you could have marked it as a trainer character as well, but point is this is still a valid counter trend trade in a sense towards the 4-hour supply. So unfortunately, took just -1 risk reward here. A setup, I'm fine with the loss. You know, it's just probabilities. These A setups tend to have like a 70% win rate when traded properly with the right context in mind, with all the confluences I have in the PDF in the course. So when they lose, it just means the 30% of probabilities played out. You actually could have managed just to break even here. We actually made equal highs, so maybe not, but there's potential of you managing your trade here, right? Using your stop loss reduction method, which I wouldn't use here because it's basically at the normal stop loss. But if we did actually go above that high, that would be a place where you can break even, or 50% to TP, or any other break even method I teach within the course that you guys can use. So that was a -1R, and later you can see we basically dumped, right? We just completely dumped and continued lower off the 4-hour supply. So like I mentioned, we were in a between 4-hour demand, 4-hour supply. One side is going to take out the other side at some point. We cannot 100% predict which one will win, right? But we can anticipate in terms of probabilities of having more conservative TPs. Like if you're long here, you want to have this conservative TP here. If you're shorting this, you would have a conservative TP maybe here. But the thing is, if you're shorting this, this is something you can also use. Notice how this delivery here happened. First of all, this is bad delivery here. But the main point is everything here is fully mitigated, except for this. So you could actually just TP there. So technically this is not fully mitigated, right? But you can at least target all this because this is fully mitigated. So that can give you hints on price signatures in terms of maybe price will actually not hold and go lower. So there's certain things you have to understand in terms of probabilities. If you play just a mitigation, you can take a lot more winning trades on this day than maybe, for example, this one loss. But some days where we just expand and fail to respect supply, winners like these will run for a lot of risk rewards. So hope you guys do enjoy today's little recap video going over probabilities, the basics of it, and just, you know, the basics of my strategy and system. If you want to actually go deep into my strategy and system, if you don't completely understand this yet, highly recommend the 100 risk reward course. I literally go through everything in there. Most people, when they take the course and finish it, they don't have any questions at the end. And it's because the course is very comprehensive and it has literally everything you need. Trade management, stop loss management, different ways of entering, when to use which entry model, because I teach several ways to enter the market with confirmation depending on how price delivers, which not a lot of people talk about, right? How price delivers towards your POI is actually important. Some people never actually look into towards that. So quick little hint there. Look into how price delivers towards your POIs. Quick little free sauce there. But hope you guys do enjoy. Join the free Discord if you are interested in just some free beginner content and just the community in general. If you want access to the private trading chat, check out the 100 risk reward course. So you get that as a bonus essentially of joining the course. The price is $399 currently with a plus 10% bonus on top if you buy quick enough. But again, in a few days, I will be raising the price to double. So join in now while you still can, and I hope to see you guys next week.